Welcome to the city of Cape Town and Killarney International Raceway now for coverage of the GR Racing SA Cup. A brand new series launched last year with Toyota getting involved in South African motorsport again in a big way and showing what they're doing all around the world. In any form of motorsport that GR Racing has climbed into, they have been successful. And the success story starts with the Yaris Cup. The Yaris boys were all in effect with a couple of lady drivers joining them last year as part of a media challenge that launched this initiative. And now the media have been thrown into Toyota 86s for 2023 and it's bucket list racing that are running the Yarises with some young karters coming through the development series from the karting background up into saloon cars. Qualifying all together, cars go out and it's all-wheel drive machines at the front end with Saad Variawa setting the pace early on. Nicky Vastanis was right alongside and Cara Hill showing the boys the way around. Bjorn Berthold behind her and there was Tariq Adam. Top of the 86s was Chad Luckhoff. He started out really nicely in the 86 and looking forward to a big run there for the Auto Trader man. Let's see what he can do as we get under racing now for the first time. Coming up to the line and getting ready to go. We'll be back right after this with Race 1 action. Here we go, race 1 on board here with Saad Variawa, the GR SA Cup 2023. First round we're covering here on the action down towards turn 1 at Holzhoek. Has he got the whole shot? Yes, he has. Slotting through there. A nice start coming through as well, coming from Cara Hill. And then just tucking in behind there. Bjorn Berthold didn't quite get the race line. He wanted into turn 1 and he slots in just behind Nicky Vastanis. So it's a big fight expected at the front end. And this is exactly the kind of action we've seen all race season last year with the media guys in these cars. And now with the GR taking over from the karting side of things, the youngsters coming through with bucket list racing supporting them. It's a great initiative and really great to see Toyota South Africa back in the mix here. And as I said earlier on in the show, showing exactly what GR Racing is doing all around the world in any format of motorsport they're involved in. We see them involved in the Dakar, we see them in World Rally Championships, and they are just dominating things. And it's exactly what's happening at the front end here from Saad Variawa's point of view. You can see a clean track ahead of him. He's going to try and get a little bit of a margin now to control things ahead of Hill, Vastanis and Berthold. Tariq Adam not quite getting the start he wanted and trying to push the Yaris GR. It's a 3-cylinder 1.6 turbo, remember all-wheel drive as well with a paddle shift system, and you can see the lights coming on there, the hazard lights showing that the ABS system is working, and it's all about development of these drivers coming through and giving them a possible run into their future careers in the saloon car categories of this country and all around the world. You can see the man out front is not holding anything back though as Saad Variawa disappears from Cara Hill and Vastanis, and doesn't look like Nicky Vastanis has got an answer just yet. Young Carter has shown some great prowess in the karting field and now having to try and find a way through. There's Cara Hill giving him a little bit of a run for his money. Can she sneak up the inside? I think she might be able to. Yes, indeed. Brilliant stuff there from the young lady. She spent a couple of seasons in Polo Cup, so certainly knows how to get a saloon car around the Cape Town circuit. Further back in the pack, you can see all of a sudden a new man to the series. Dennis Dropper joins us for the very first time there from Times Live, and he's trying to find a way through to the front end. Luckhoff looks like he might have had a little bit of issues there in the initial part, but right now there's some huge battles in the background with the media. Remember, the media are driving the Toyota 86s, the GR 86s. It's a 4-cylinder boxer engine, a 2.4 4-cylinder naturally aspirated machine. It's got an auto box with a paddle shift, and it's 180 kilowatts of power that they've got to play with, which is about 20 kilowatts down on the Yaris Cup guys up front. So a little bit of fun and games at the front end, but let me tell you something, things starting to spread out here at the front. Didn't quite expect this, because I thought Vastanis' pace in the morning may have kept him in contention with Saad Variawa, but Saad Variawa, having already competed in the first round at Swartkops earlier on in the season, now into his second round and third race of the championship, is certainly a man to beat, and he's getting away from Cara Hill and Vastanis relatively easily. If you take into account what happened with his brother of course is riding in the GR Racing GTC machine, and he'll be in action here this weekend as well. But Saad is doing it all right, keeping Cara Hill at bay, and Cara Hill has actually pulled a nice margin to maintain a gap over Nicky Vastanis. Vastanis in the background has done the same thing to Bjorn Berthold, and Tariq Adam there in 5th place hasn't really had an answer, but had a little bit of issues early on. Out front, the man from the Citizen is leading things in the 86 Cup, and that's Mark Jones. Dennis Dropper looks like he's moved up into 2nd place, and there's a bit of pressure coming from Sitaba Mashigo and Chad Luckhoff. Remember, Mashigo is a man who comes out of the world of e-racing and certainly has got to grips with a real car as opposed to the one he'd normally found in front of him on a screen. But doing a superb job there to keep out Luckhoff and Ruben van Niekerk. Brendan Staniforth, just a little bit of issues there, but looks like he's got to grips with it now and is slowly but surely starting to get into the mix there for what is 2nd place on track. Big fight expected here between these 4 cars. Kind of expected him to stay a little bit higher up in the standings. Mashigo now putting the pressure on there for third place, looking for a way to sneak through, maybe into second, and close this gap down that Mark Jones has pulled. But he's not going to have it all his own way there. Dropper's in it, and so is Luckov. Luckov's come back again. He was the man on pole position, remember, from Auto Trader, and he hasn't quite got back to where he was at the start of this race, and that's at the helm. Oh, defensive driving. And late dive on the inside there to try and find a way through. No, couldn't quite get there, but Mashigo definitely had a big look and was trying to find a way past. But the man on the move there, watch out for Dropper. Dropper is definitely a man to watch out for here in the closing stages of this first race. Trying to close down on Mark Jones. Mark Jones, remember, has had a full season in the RS Cup last year, so he's kind of got an idea of what to expect from these cars. But these are rear-wheel drive cars as opposed to the all-wheel drive cars out front with the youngsters at them. Here they go into Holes Hook again. No change at this stage. Mashigo hangs on. Look at that high, wide line coming out of Ruben Finnicker, trying to find a way past. Can he do that? Not just yet. This is second place, Cara Hill. No answer there to Saad Variawa, who's disappearing in the front end, heading towards Sarl van der Merwe sweep. And as he comes through there, it's relatively easily done for Saad Variawa. No worries at all for him at the front. And Cara Hill now in a comfortable position in second place. Try to close the gap down, just wasn't able to do it, and I don't think there's going to be enough time for her to do just that. This is Saad Variawa, flat out down the back straight. 200 kilowatts of power coming into play, and then it's late on the brakes using that ABS system and all-wheel drive to go through the bank corner at Fastron corner at the bottom end of the circuit. And that's the gaps that have opened up. As you can see, big gaps now opening up between all 5 of the Yaris Cup competitors. Variawa, Hill, Vostanis, Bertolt, and Tariq Adam. Those are your top 5. Remember, the idea of this category is that the development will come from karting up into this Yaris Cup and then move them on to potentially driving in the global touring cars. And then from there, the world's your oyster with Gazoo Racing behind you. And the brakes once again, it is Cara Hill in second place, and she's really had no trouble since getting through on Vostanis at that very corner earlier on in race number 1. And it's a case of Vostanis going to have to maybe do a little bit of thinking on how to get higher up, because he had some great qualifying pace and looked pretty good down here in Cape Town. Coming down into turn 1, Holes Hook is the leader of the 86 side of things, and this is the Citizens' Mark Jones, who now leads out over Dennis Dropper. Dropper trying to come through there, eventually got through on Mashigo, but that battle's not done. As you can see, 4 cars fighting hard. It's great to see. These are all new arrivals to the Yaris development racing here that we've got. And in the media side of things, they've been given a relatively beast of a car, 180 kilowatt rear-wheel drive. Rear-wheel drive with a media competitor behind the wheel is usually pretty exciting. And you can see that's exactly what the crowd are seeing here in Cape Town. Variawa running high and up onto the banking, using that corner to great effect to run to the line. But that run to the line is not done here from the 86 point of view. You see Ruben Finnicker has lost a little bit of ground there. And Brendan Sanaforth trying to close that gap down, has nearly got there. With about 2 laps to go, there's still a possibility he can get in there. And as you can see, if he gets there, it's going to be this kind of fight he's in for. Oh, 3 cars into turn 5. Could that turn into tears? Usually does, but there's enough room given there. On the outside goes the 3 car, and Staniforth is looking good, and he gets sent onto the side. There you go. I was going to say, Brendan Staniforth has just joined that party, and he just gets sent onto the sideline and onto the back, and right to the back of the pack. So that's going to be a huge margin now to close. With 2 laps, I don't think he's going to be able to do that. He may have to settle for that last position here in the 86 side. And onto the 86s, down into turn 1. This is a huge fight again. Looking inside lines. Whoa, great move there from the 777 car. And Mashigo is looking pretty dangerous out there, I've got to tell you. He is being hunted down big time by Dropper. Dropper wants by. There's a big fight on here between Luckov as well. Luckov about to join the party, and you can see that Ruben van Niekerk also wants part of this. But as they go into turn 2, oh, it's tight. Very, very close here. Running wide is not what you want to be doing. Do not open up at all. And sideways onto the World Rallycross Championship circuit. Yes, it is Gazoo Racing, but we're not doing World Rally Championship. Oh, a Dakar, and onto the inside of the grass as well. Oh, there's non-stop. This is the way we do it. Getting it lit and sideways. Ruben van Niekerk, first man to get off track and use a little bit of extra circuit out there. Looks like they're using more because Mashigo's gone off track a second time. And onto the dirty stuff. That's not where you want to be putting that. Those Dunlop tyres will not enjoy the dirty stuff here in Cape Town. Keeping it between the white lines is exactly what you want to be doing, and perfectly done so far from Saad Variawa. Continues to lead things out at the front of the race in the Yaris side of this championship. 86 is back at it, down into Cape Town corner again. Fastron corner has seen plenty of action so far. Staniforth off again, has he? Yes, he's gone off again for the second time. He's really battling to keep that car on the track at this stage, but it's possibly because he's been off so many times. Those Dunlop tyres are now dirty. This is what it's all about at the front end, and you can see just a bit of action from the Yaris side of things. Saad Variawa controlling things literally from start to finish, has not been troubled in any way whatsoever. Managed to get away from the battle behind him there, and you can see just how difficult it's going to be to try and catch this man all season long. He's headed for the checkered flag, and it looks like it's going to be plain sailing there for him. Cora Hill has done the same thing to Nicky Vastanis, and as I said, Vastanis possibly going to be looking to try and change things up ever so slightly to keep the battle a little bit closer. The Bucket List Racing boys have got some work to do to get these cars evenly matched. They are exactly the same machinery out there on the same tyres and everything doing exactly the same, other than the driver's skill in front, and that's exactly what Saad Variawa is showing. On a similar vein to what his brother has done in global touring cars, Variawa is starting to make his name in the Gazoo Racing Cup. Great job there. Checkered flag is out, and race 1 win going to Saad Variawa. Cora Hill just in the background coming through for second place, opening up an equally distant gap between herself and Nicky Vastanis for second. A great drive there from Vastanis. Coming into the final corner now, Cape Town corner, and sponsored by Fostron. It's the Citizen Motoring. And the 23 car there of Mark Jones has kept it all in front and out of harm's way. The battle was behind, and it's Dennis Dropper who looks like he's going to hang on for second place at this stage in the 86s. Coming to the line, Mark Jones takes it. Dennis Dropper will come through, and looks like it's a long way back to Dropper. Yes, it is. He's also pulled a bit of a margin. I think there was a little bit of argy-bargy there between Mashigo and Luckhoff and Ruben van Niekerk in that final lap. But it's going to be Chad Luckhoff who's going to come through there just behind Sachaba Mashigo. Good recovery from Chad. He'll be looking to turn his luck around ever so slightly in race number 2, I'm sure. There are your results. Saad Variawa, Cora Hill, Vastanis, Bertold and Tariq Adam. Top 5 in GR Yaris Cup. And then the 86s was taken by Mark Jones and Dennis Dropper in second. Let's catch up now with Saad Variawa.
Hi, I'm Saad Variawa, and I raced the GR SA Cup. The first race in Cape Town was good. We qualified first this morning in the wet, and now race 1 we started first, and I basically just drove away from the pack.
In third place was Nicky Vastanis.
Hello guys, I'm Nicky Vastanis. This is my Toyota GR Yaris. I just finished my race, I finished third. We had a bit of problems with the car. We lost 5th gear, so I had to resort to using 4th on the main straight and 6th on the back straight. But otherwise, there was some nice racing in the beginning. And yeah, hopefully we can get it fixed by our next race and get on top of things.
Let's catch up with second place in the 86s, Dennis Dropper.
I'm Dennis Dropper from Times Live, and this is a long-awaited comeback to racing for me. And I really enjoyed my first race here at Killarney. It was very hectic out there. I started last on the grid. It was a wet qualifying, but we were all very close together in the time, so I knew that I'd be there in the mix in the race. Unfortunately, that's what happened. There was a bit of bumping and barging, and 1 or 2 of the drivers needed speaking to perhaps, but it was very enjoyable in the end. Very happy to finish second in my first race out.
How's it? I'm Brendan from Marula Media. We race 6 of the journalist cars in the GR Cup. The atmosphere this weekend's actually been great. We've had a total mixed bag in terms of weather. We've had wet and dry practices. Qualifying this morning was wet, which fortunately let Sachaba, our fastest whiz kid, pushed him back into us, so he only qualified 5th. I qualified 3rd. But race 1 was a little bit of utter mayhem going on. There was touching and tagging and rubbing and all sorts of things. So race 1 was not an ideal result, stone last, but we'll see what race 2 holds.
Welcome back to action now from race number 2 of the Gazoo Racing SA Cup. And the cars are waiting to get out on track in anger. Looking forward to seeing if anybody can catch Saad Variawa and that man in number 23 in the 86 side, Mark Jones. They were the winners in race number 1. Race number 2 about to kick off, and Saad Variawa looking to do exactly what he did in race number 1, and that's get the whole shot. Vastanis this time inside of Cora Hill and could possibly squeeze through there for second. Nicky looking good and forcing Cora Hill onto a slightly wider line coming out of Holzhoek. And eventually she slots in just behind Nikki Vastanis. Pressure already coming from Björn Bartold. And then right on their tail is Tariq Adam. So Tariq Adam with a much better start this time out as well. So expect to see a bit closer action there between 3, 4 and 5 if they can stay together and try and stay in contention with this man who leads things out coming down into turn 3. And flying through, you can hear those Dunlop tyres squealing already. He's pulled about 2 or 3 car lengths ahead of the second pack already, and just showing the prowess he has behind the wheel of this Yaris. Absolutely brilliant stuff. 200 kilowatts of power about to be put down with the all-wheel drive system coming out of Sarel van der Merwe sweep and onto that back straightaway, and it's Saad Variawa getting away from the pack right from the word go. He leads things out there, as you can see, probably about 10 car lengths now, because Vastanis is having to go defensive to keep out Hill. Cara Hill all over the back of Nikki trying to find a way through. Can she do that under braking, heading into Fostron corner? She goes high and wide on the top end of the banking. Don't want to put a wheel over the edge of that banking, otherwise you might end up on the Killarney or even worse into the wall. Brendan Staniforth about that. He did it twice in race number 1 in the 86s, and they come across the line to complete the first lap. That's the gap between first and second, and the second place battle is heating up big time. Vastanis going defensive. Puts the car in the middle of the track, not giving any room there to Cara Hill. She's a bit far back to have a go there. But you can see as those hazard lights come on, the ABS system kicks in and they turn into Holzhoek, turn 1 again. And the pressure is on Vastanis. He wants to get the second place this time. He does not want to lose out. Speaking of pressure, already pressure coming from Staniforth. We heard from him earlier on. He definitely wants to turn his luck around. And he's looking for a chance now to be at the front end of the 86s as opposed to the rear end. Dropper into second, and he's looking for a slightly different line there with Mashiga on his tail, and Sechaba is certainly looking dangerous, but the gap has opened up a little bit there between second and third place, and look at the gap between 3 and 4. Down in fourth place there looks like Chad Luckhoff and Ruben van Niekerk fighting for the just outside of what it would be the podium in the 86 Cup. They come onto the little short straight, the Jabez straight, heading towards Sarel van der Merwe sweep. Be back on board with Sawad as he goes down into turn 5. Very late braking, and also interesting fact there, with the new resurfacing of the circuit, there's no longer a bump down into Cape Town corner or Fostron, so it makes it very difficult for people that have been here in the past to try and find that braking point. Usually it would be that little bump and then you climb on the anchors, but no longer a bump in the way there with a brand new tarmac being laid here at Killarney International Raceway after signing a new deal with the City of Cape Town, and of course the City of Cape Town behind this event in a big way. Great to see that initiative being put in by the city. But also great to see the initiative being put in here by Toyota as they look to hone the skills of the youngsters in these Yarises and see if their futures are going to bode any future of note. And we've seen that on a few occasions with a couple of drivers that have come through this program. They're starting to show prowess in global touring cars. And with GR Racing Cup, it looks like it's going to be more of the same into turn 2 now. Cara Hill looking for a way around the outside of Vastanis. And they're going to go side by side, wing mirror to wing mirror. That's incredible. A little bit of room given there, and maybe a little bit of squeeze there from Nicky to try and hang on to second, but that's how hard he's going to have to fight. Cara Hill probably with a little bit more experience when it comes to saloon car racing, having not only piloted Polo Cup, but also other forms of saloon car racing in her career. Vastanis only for the first time into a saloon car for 2023, but enjoying the action. No one seems to have an answer, though, to this man as he flies down that back straightaway. They're going to go probably just over the 220 km/h mark before they climb onto the anchors and slam it down the gearbox on that pedal shift system to go into turn 5. Or just drive around the outside of your competitors. What a great bit of maneuvering there from Cara Hill. And she's going to get a little bit of pressure once again from Vastanis. He comes up the inside. Oh, a little nudge. Little tap there between the two of them. She backed out of it and lived to probably fight another day, fight another corner. Not a bad option there at this point in time. There's a long way to go still in race number 2. And Cara Hill is trying to find a way through there. And Vastanis is making your day a little bit more difficult here in race number 2. The background, Berthold wants some of it, but he can't quite get onto the back end there. Even though they're fighting hard and slowing each other down slightly, Berthold just hasn't been able to bridge that gap just yet. That's the gap between 1, 2 and 3. A huge margin now with Variawa controlling things. She goes closed down big time onto the back end of Dropper. Nice two-way fight there for second place. Watching in the background, is that Luckhoff who's moved up? Yes, it is. Luckhoff into the 4 spot. And he's also trying to bridge that gap. Behind that, Van Niekerk and Staniforth are going at it in a big way. It's superb to see the media boys having a great run here in these 86s. First time out in Cape Town that the 86s have been seen by the big crowd. And it was a really nice partisan crowd that have come out here to experience the Extreme Festival. And for the first time, Kazoo Racing Cup 2023 with the inclusion here of these Toyota 86s. 180 kilowatts of power to play with. Those little 4 cylinders are loving life down here at sea level. Right, here we go. Let's see what these 1.6s can do. Is it going to be Cara Hill again around the outside to try and find a way through on Vastanas? Vastanas going to try and come back at her, hold that inside line, block that inside line so that Cara can't find a way through. And no, she can't. But now we've got Bertolt. He's joined the party. So as I said, that concertina effect with them playing around and fighting so hard has slowed them down slightly. Bertolt into the mix on the outside, down the pit wall. He'll be right up against the pit wall and squeezed in there. Possibilities of a change up here for third place. Cara going to just place that car perfectly and not allow a chance there for the man in fourth place to get up to third. No, he has to slot in behind and just find a way through. So Bertolt is right there. He's joined the party. It's a three-way fight for second place on the road. In the background, Tariq Adam hasn't quite bridged that gap, but he'll be looking to do that possibly by the next round. To get to Swartkops, a little bit easier for him to do that. He'll know the circuit a bit better than Cape Town. A lot of these youngsters also learning the Cape Town circuit for the very first time. That's why Cara Hill has got so much more experience over the two competitors she's fighting with at this point in time. But not able to find a way through to second just yet, as Vastanas keeps her out for now. Into the back straight away, in towards Sarel van der Merwe sweep. Try and get some slipstream effect. That's what Cara will be looking for. If she can get the drive out of Sarel van der Merwe sweep onto the back straight. Try and get right up underneath that bumper and use the slipstream effect under braking to get into turn 5 faster on. Placed herself nicely. Oh, Vastanas saw her coming. Went inside and shut the door. And now onto the brakes. Oh, brilliantly done. Absolutely perfectly done. Well done there to Cara Hill. Setting things up. And here comes Bertolt. Bertolt in with a shot. Vastanas saw him coming though and goes defensive. So lucky to keep up Bjorn Bertolt, but it was tight stuff there between Vastanas and Bertolt as he had to go defensive after losing out to Cara Hill. Now Cara's pulled about 2 car lengths there. Looks like she's going to try and get away and maintain that second spot. And you can see the man out front, well, you can't even see him. He's not even in the picture. Variawa just disappearing and controlling things in a big way at the front end of this Yaris Cup. Right on their tail though, this is the fight for Cara Hill's second place, and Cara Hill now in second, pulling away. Nicky Vastanas was right there, but looks like he's now gone defensive and slowed himself up even more. Further back in the 86s, it's still a battle there between Mashigo and Dropper, and looks like Chad Luckhoff about to join the party. Looking for a chance now for Luckhoff to be part and parcel of that. Is he going to be able to do anything about Dropper? Dropper closing down on Mashigo. Mashigo into second, Dropper to third. And it's Luckhoff now putting the pressure onto the Times Live man, the Auto Trader man, looking for a way through. He's not quite close enough just yet. But I think what he's going to try and do here is use Dropper to pull himself up closer to Mashigo and then have a run for second place. As we saw, Chad Luckhoff was quickest this morning in the wet, but it's now dried up into perfect race conditions. And I don't know if the man from the Auto Trader is going to have enough time here to sort things out in this 86 Cup. Mark Jones once again dominating at the front end and showing his little bit more experience in this Cup particularly and this championship. Last year in the Yaris's, this time in the 86s, and just using the experience he's got here, having come down to Cape Town on a few occasions, not only to test cars, but also, of course, to race in Gazoo Racing SA Cup. Late braking from Mashigo. Once again, Dropper closes things down. Can Dropper find a way past, or is Mashigo going to hang on? Looks like Mashigo might have enough here to keep Dropper out. It's going to be a fight there for third place between Dropper and Chad Luckhoff. We're on the final lap, and this is Saad Variawa out front and in control. He's actually rolled out slightly. Looking at the lap times, he's just backed off ever so slightly. Just wants to get through there without a damaged car. Leave Cape Town with what will be 4 wins out of 4 starts in this championship. 2 today and 2 a couple of weekends ago at Swartkops. They'll be looking forward to going to Swartkops again for the next round of the championship and possibly looking for 6 for 6. Out of Sarel sweep for the last time and down the back straight away. Saad Variawa is the dominant force here in the Yaris Cup, and he's certainly going to be a man to get a big target on his back from everybody else behind him. But if they can even see him, that is the huge margin he has now over Cara Hill in second place. Hill this time a little bit closer to Vastanas. Nice fight there actually between Vastanas, Bertolt and Hill in race number 2. A little bit closer than what we had in the first heat. So they certainly sorted things out there down at Bucketless Racing to get those cars a bit evenly matched. Now they just need to find a way to catch this man out front, and I'm sure that's coming in the very near future. To the line, and checkered flag is out. Variawa with a second victory, and that'll be his 4th out of the season so far. Great effort there from the young man, beating out Cara Hill, who we should see just coming over the horizon with the yellow wing mirrors. And we're going to watch Mark Jones coming through turn number 5, Fastron corner. Cape Town corner as well as he comes out of that one. He hangs on to the lead over Sechaba Mashigo. Mashigo this time also a lot closer to Mark Jones, with Dennis Dropper just in the background beating out Chad Luckoff. There's the official results. Variawa, Hill and Vasanis beating out Berthold and Adam. Jones, Mashigo, Dropper, Luckoff and Finicke, your top 5 in the 86 Cup. Let's catch up with second overall, Cora Hill.
Hi, I'm Cara Hill, and I got the guy in second, which was quite good. I was gaining on the first place guy, but then I started messing up, which I need to start not doing. But other than that, it was a good race.
Certainly was a great race amongst the 86s and the Yaris in Gazoo Racing SA Cup Round 2. Here from Killarney, we head to Swartkop's on the 20th of May. Come and join us there for all the action.